Yo, what's good?
704. What up? What up? What up? What up?
Hey, man, look, it's a special moment. Do you guys know why it's a special moment today?
We do, man, but we'll let you tell it, man.
This is the first time in our show's history that has been this late in the season where the Hornets are above 500. Look. I'm going to be like, Nori, let's give it up for the Hornets. Let's give it up. Woo! Insert the air horns.
We need air horns and whistles. We need everything right now, man.
We need DJ Clue nominee. You need all that.
Hey, man, Jamal, how was your week been, man?
Man, it's been a week, man. Sometimes this show is therapy for me, man. Let's just say it's one of those times, bro.
Mr. Soul, say, how was your week, brother?
No complaints. Thank God for professional sports. You know, it's crazy how it can change the whole dynamic of your week and your well-being.
Yeah,
totally agree.
Man, I picked up a basketball and played for the first time in like 2 years on Friday. And
when you out of the hospital?
This morning.
Yeah.
So I was just shooting around at first. I'm like, let me pick up the rock. It's 75, 80 degrees outside. Let me pick up the rock. I'm a little rusty at first. Then I started hitting the three. And they're like, yeah, you want to play 3-on-3? Bad choice.
Don't do that, man.
Look, we were going to 11 at first, and they were like, yeah, let's make this 15. I'm like, yeah, I just had COVID, and I can't breathe right now, so I'm done. And I'm like, sub out. Kid, come play for me. Well, I was at Hornets that part. But y'all, we're going to jump into the Hornets, man.
Now to real basketball.
Not to real basketball, and my knees are hurting. Look who's here. It's Chris.
Mr. Galloway.
His
AKA the biggest Nick Richards fan in
his son got to play last night.
His son got some playing time last night, and it wasn't impressive. The Hornets, look, the Hornets came back from an all-star break. They're 2-0. They gutted out a win versus the Pistons. Terry Rozier put on a performance in front of the chairman, Michael Jordan, and we shook off that rust, and we beat the hell out the Raptors last night. So, guys, tell me your analysis and breakdown of these two games.
Pistons game, man. It was. I guess the Pistons game is what we all should have expected after a week layoff, man. It was an ugly game. It was an ugly win, but you know we'll being this Hornets team, man. We'll take a win anyway we can get it, man. And to be clear, man, there was rust on both sides. The Detroit Pistons showed some rust. We definitely showed rust. A high turnover game for both teams, man. I think we were just kind of out of sync the whole game. I think we defended pretty well, man, but as soon as the second quarter started, man, it all just kind of went downhill from there. Terry Rozier decided in the fourth quarter, look, we're a better team than the Pistons. Let's prove it. And he put the team on his back, man. And ultimately, we gutted out an ugly win. But again, Kaz has made this point over and over again, man. You beat the teams you're supposed to beat, and you take it any way we can get it, man. That's what we did. We beat a team we were supposed to beat. The Toronto game, man, we were just clicking on all cylinders, dude. That was just – the first quarter was nothing like I've ever seen in the Hornets game. 11 3-pointers in the first quarter, man. One thing I did not like about the Raptors game, we committed 28 turnovers.
Yeah.
That has got to fix itself with this gauntlet of a schedule we have coming up after the Kings. Ultimately, man, highly impressive. I think this was LaMelo Ball's most impressive performance, not from a numbers perspective. I'll get to this a little later. I'll let Kaza go first. But I think LaMelo Ball was very impressive in last night's win, man. Very impressed with the overall effort. Another thing I did not like about the Raptors game was the G League guys. They left. I'm sorry, man. Garbage time was. I know it's garbage time for a reason, and these G Leaguers.
So Noah Darling wasn't a darling.
Nate Darling was not a darling. It was a very bad impression for a very small sample size, man. But overall, man, 2-0, you can't ask for anything better, man.
Yeah, I think the Hornets saw that they finally had a chance to separate themselves from this glut of teams that are hovering around 500 that the Hornets are better than. Teams like Atlanta, the Knicks, Chicago. Although, we're a place above the Knicks, but the Hornets said, look, we got 2 games against teams that aren't as good as us. We have to win these games. Yeah. And I think last season they would have faltered in at least one of those games. And credit to JB knowing that, hey, they were going to be rusty with the Pistons game. Everyone did different things during All-Star break. I think PJ was the only guy getting up shots. They asked him, hey, what'd you do during the All-Star break? He's like, I was in the gym. We know that LaMelo went out to California, and no knock on any players that did that stuff. But you're going to have some rust if you're not in the gym shooting every day. And they gutted out a win, and then they made up for it by just burying the Raptors. And I know the Raptors were without some of their best players, okay? But, hey, it's the NBA. Everyone's going through that this season. Yeah. Hornets have had stretches where we've been without our best players due to COVID or injury to essentially really they should have beat the Raptors by more than they did. The G League guys came in and gave up the lead, but I just felt like at one point the Hornets were up by like 27 or 28, and I'm like, they should be up by like 50. And, really, they should have. They started to get sloppy, a little overconfident. Props to them for seizing the moment, saying, okay, this is our chance to get above 500. And it looks like they could possibly, and they probably will, stay either right at 500 or above 500 the rest of the season. The Hornets have much easier strength of schedule than they did before. We were debating in the Hornets.
Except for next week.
I'm about to say next week is a gauntlet, man.
Next week's tough, but you know what? Them going out on that West Coast trip was the best thing that could have happened to them. I think to go out there and compete, I mean, the Hornets have been competitive against top-tier teams all seasons, even in games that they've lost. Really, there's only one game, the Philly, where they just got rolled by a better team. And I feel I'm not even that worried about next week. I don't think the Hornets will come out looking stellar, but their second half schedule is much more favorable than the first half schedule was. So, and I think that will bode well for them.
So, guys, let me ask you a question. So, starting next week tomorrow, we have Sacramento, Denver, the Lakers, and the Clippers. Mm-hmm. 3 of the last 4 on the road. So we do have a quick West Coast swing. So what is your prediction of the record this upcoming week?
My optimistic side says 2-2. I guess my realistic side is saying 1-3. I think we could get the Denver game, man. Denver's a tough out, man. Yeah. The big fella who I'm having a brain fart right now, man. He owns us. Jokic is a horrible matchup for us, man. He's had a lot of success against us. I don't even want to talk about LeBron James. Until we prove otherwise, he just owns this franchise. I don't want to talk about it because I don't want my blood pressure going up. The Spurs, man, that the AT&T Center is like a house of horrors for the Hornets, man. We haven't had much success there, in our overall history. We did get a game a couple of seasons ago there, but this is a new franchise, new regime. If we end this week 2-2, man, I think that's another big victory going into the next week, man. So I'll stick with my optimistic prediction, and I'll say 2-2.
Gotcha.
I think we still won against a team that we're not supposed to beat. The Hornets have been doing that all season. They've got a lot of momentum.
I would prefer to be versus the Lakers, but
I would too.
No. I want to versus the Clippers because I'm tired of hearing Nick Batum's.
Oh yeah. That would actually be great. Nick Batum's going to want to really show up for that game, and I would love for Miles Bridges to punch it on his head or something like that. Something like that. So I think, well, first of all, the Hornets, I hate to call Sacramento a trap game because it's not like the Hornets are like a dominant elite team, but that's a trap game.
Yeah, they absolutely is.
Sacramento played us close last time we played them.
They should have won.
Yeah, and the Kings they're gonna remember that game. They were up essentially 8 points with a potential 4-point play, flagrant foul, 2 shots, and possession in the last minute 6 seconds. And they lost. They do not forget that. And the Hornets might have forgotten that, but the Kings didn't. They have to. You got to get rid of Sacramento first. You got to get that game out the way. But I think the Hornets might steal one against Denver or LA. I think they'll have a better showing against LeBron than they have done in the past against him.
So guys, I got a question, man. So. Last year, Terry Rozier came in and was automatically dubbed the replacement to Kemba. This year, in addition to last year, he's really shown that he's his own player.
Yeah.
What has gotten into him during clutch time where he's just he turns into Terry Jordan? I'm just confused. Like, it's like he has a switch.
Listen. Before I say what I'm going to say about Terry Rozier, let me say this. I am tired of being right. Like, I'm right so much, and I'm sick and tired of us being right so much. Let me tell you why we were right again, and this is why I was right. When we first signed Terry Rozier, I said, this man is going to have a chip on his shoulder. It's kind of the guy he's always been. He's been that guy since he was in Boston. He had a chip on his shoulder playing behind Kyrie Irving. He had a chip on his shoulder coming into his regime with the Hornets. I think, other than just the work he's put in to be as successful as he has been, I think his attitude has just propelled him to heights I don't even think he saw coming, man. And I think, we blame Michael Jordan for everything that goes wrong in his franchise. It's time to give credit where credit is due, man. I think Michael saw that. I think that's why Michael made it such a point to make sure Mitch Kupchak signed Terry Rozier. And I don't know if it was necessarily to replace Kemba Walker because, like you said, he's his own man now. He's not even a quote-unquote traditional point guard. You know what I mean? He has found his role. And I think James Borrego also deserves a lot of credit for kind of fitting Terry Rozier, for making Terry Rozier a perfect fit with his team as well.
Yeah, I think his ascension is that they didn't try and shoehorn him into this run the offense kind of role. To be fair, a lot of that was brought on by the unexpected ascension of Devontae Graham, so they didn't have to. They didn't need Terry Rozier to run the offense because Devontae Graham honestly did it better. The offense running through him was better with Terry playing off the ball. But like Jamal said, we saw this in Boston during that playoff run. No one was expecting that. The world was shocked that Terry Rozier, in the absence of Kyrie Irving, essentially, led the Boston Celtics to within a game of the NBA Finals, and we're starting to see that here. So now he's got his own squad, and he's not backing anybody up.
Yeah. Now,
I mean, he's not, and it's the basketball gods have never really smiled on the Hornets in the last 30 years.
No,
this year the basketball gods are smiling on us. The Devontae Graham, Terry Rozier, LaMelo Ball situation worked itself out. It really has. You got Terry as your starting two guard. You got LaMelo running the point. The Hornets are better for it. And Devontae seems to be happy. I don't know about happy, but he's talked about how he's fine coming off the bench. And we saw last night a healthy Devontae Graham with his shot back, Malik Monk, Miles Bridges, and Cody Martin. That's a pretty good bench unit. That's a pretty good unit. Probably the best the Hornets had since Jeremy Lin was here.
Hey, real quick, man. Devontae Graham and Malik Monk, 17 and 16 off the bench last night, man.
When was the last time we got that kind of production off two guys off the bench? And Miles had an off game.
Yeah, right.
So, imagine when those guys that
really
unit gets their rhythm. And the big issue is the 5. God, Biz, man, bro.
It's gonna be all right, man.
Nick Richards.
I mean, the thing is a lot of people are like, well, Richards or Curry couldn't be worse. Yeah, they could be, but not by much. It's just that Biyombo, this is what gets me about him dropping those passes. He doesn't seem aware.
Awareness.
It's like, dude, if you're under the basket, you need to be there. There's only a few things that can happen. Someone puts up a shot, you get the rebound, or someone passes it to you. It's really only one of those two things. And there was a play yesterday where Miles Bridges had drove to the basket. 2 guys met him in the rim. Bismack's just sitting there. So Miles dumps the ball off to him, and Biz acts surprised, like, "Oh shit!" And the ball
in the face. Yeah, right.
It's like, bro, like what the heck? If they can shore that up, that second unit's going to be a problem, and that is what's going to propel the Hornets moving forward.
Gotcha. So guys, this past week, I don't know if you guys know him, Kevin O'Connor from the Ringer. He says if you're looking at players who are 23 and under right now, maybe Luka, Zion, and Tatum. I mean, I take LaMelo over Trae Young and Ja Morant, no question. Is LaMelo up there on the totem pole to you guys as far as players 23 and under? And I would include Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in this list.
Absolutely. Now, I may not put him in the category that those players are right now. I'm basing this off of potential. His potential is out of this world, man. Like, seriously, with LaMelo Ball, the first thing I noticed about him is that, man, his natural instincts and his natural feel for the game. I mean, it is up there with some of the greats that I've seen. I mean, seriously, I like just some of the little stuff that he does on the court that makes other players better. I mean, that's gonna take him to heights that we're not ready for, man. When he shores up the rookie stuff, and what I mean by the rookie stuff is, learning how to play NBA defense, cutting down on some of the silly rookie turnovers that you see sometimes. That stuff is going to correct itself as time goes on. When he shores that up, man, the sky is the limit, man. I mean, I don't want to. Y'all know I'm not into making predictions, and I don't like having a crystal ball or what have you, man. But the sky is the absolute limit when it comes to that dude. Man, his potential is more than any young guy that I see right now.
Woo, it's a big statement. Kaz, what you think?
I agree. Potential-wise or impact-wise, he's right there with those guys. No one can tell me that Trae Young has more impact than LaMelo Ball. In fact, the Hornets are what the people thought the Hawks would be this season.
Right.
Mainly that's because of LaMelo Ball. So what's going to happen when Ball gets a little bigger, when he gets physically stronger, when the game slows down even more, when his shot starts to get more dialed in? It's hard to remove the glasses of homerism when you look at LaMelo Ball. But I'm telling you, every game I watch this kid and I'm like, I just can't believe this dude is a Charlotte Hornet. I just can't believe some of the stuff that he does just comes too easy for him. And I don't know if that's because he played in the Australian League or if it's just a natural talent. But potential, you gotta put him up there.
Now, real quick, Rodney, real quick. Earlier in the show, I said, I thought last night was LaMelo's best game, not necessarily from a numbers perspective, but here's why I said this, man. I thought last night you did not see a lot of that rookie stuff. I thought he played well defensively. He only turned the ball over twice. He had 6 assists, man. I didn't see a lot of those rookie mistakes last night. And I think if he plays a game like he did last night, man, I mean, that in itself can take the Hornets to the next level, man, because look at the results when he reeled himself in and played like a vet last night. Look at the results. It's hard to argue, you know what I mean? So that's why I said what I said.
The only pushback I have on that list is Ja Morant. I think him and Melo are neck and neck in a way. You think about it like this. John Morant had the Grizzlies within one game of the playoffs in the Western Conference as a rookie. And that playing game that they had in the bubble, he scored a career high. That dude is a dog. But other than that, I mean, Trae Young is flashy and nice, but where's the impact? Like Kaja said, the impact isn't there.
I think John Morant has maybe he's a little bit more athletic than LaMelo Ball. LaMelo Ball is pretty athletic, but John Morant has he has this explosiveness that other guys don't have that works well for him in the NBA. And his playmaking ability comes from the fact that the defense has to focus on him. They have to try and limit his explosiveness, and that opens up opportunities for other players. With LaMelo, I'm not going to say forces the issue. Sometimes you have to take what the defense gives you, but you can manipulate the defense into giving you what you want. And that's what LaMelo Ball is able to do that John Morant is not.
And real quick, man, I want more people to give more props to the Grizzlies. They have a young, good coach in Taylor Jenkins, man. I don't think he gets enough props. Just judging from what I've seen from them lately, man, they're always ready to play. They're kind of like us, you know what I mean? They're a young, hungry team. They don't ever give up. I think with their talent, they overachieve, and I think their coaching has really helped John Morant and the Grizzlies.
And I'm gonna leave it like this, man. It's the NBA is lucky to have a plethora of young talent, especially at the guard position. And I look, man, I just can't wait to see these Ja and Melo battles and these Melo and Trae battles in the future, man. It's gonna be epic.
Man, think about when the chairman retired, the league people were worried. Who's going to be in a dark place? You know, what's going to happen now that Michael Jordan is retired? You know, the most popular player the league has ever seen. And then we had a great generation, even though early to mid 2000s NBA was kind of weird, but you know, we had Kobe Bryant, Tim Duncan, Dirk Nowitzki, we had Shaq, we had Dwayne Wade, and then you know we saw the rookie, the young LeBron, LaMelo, and now that era is ending. And if you look, man, the transition between LeBron's era and this new era, it's not going to skip a beat. It's not. I'm not saying there won't ever be another LeBron James. As much as I pick on LeBron James,
never, ever.
There'll never be another LeBron James. Just like there'll never be another Michael Jordan. As close as Kobe got, there'll never be another Michael Jordan. So there'll never be another LeBron James. But I do think that guys like LaMelo and Ja, they bring this energy and excitement to the game that actually I don't think we necessarily had in the previous era. This is the social. These kids were born of the social media era. LeBron kind of grew into the social media era as Dwayne Wade and Carmelo Anthony, but these guys were already ingrained in the social media era and bring that to the NBA. I mean, LaMelo Ball has more Instagram followers than the Charlotte Hornets do. I think that bodes very, very well for the NBA moving forward.
Absolutely, man. Look, social media actually kind of replaced college basketball and promotion, but I'm gonna leave it like that. I'm gonna leave it there. So, guys, man, we're gonna talk about our Carolina Panthers, man.
We have to.
Yeah.
The team that has never had back-to-back winning seasons, but is the love of Charlotte's heart. So this week, CMC and Shaq restructured their contracts. A lot of this stuff is converted to signing bonuses to create cap space. The cap for the league for this year dropped to $182 million due to COVID. And we franchise tagged Taylor Moton like we said last week. And Matt Rhule has some interesting comments on Teddy Bridgewater. So, guys, how did you take those comments about Bridgewater? I got you guys talk.
Matt Rhule and David Tepper. Although I think that Tepper's actually doing a pretty good job as the owner of the Panthers, they cannot be trusted in the things they say. You cannot. You just can't. We saw this movie play out with Cam Newton. We saw Matt Rhule come out and publicly state how ready he was, how excited he was to work with Cam, and all this stuff. And Tepper, hey, Cam's our guy. If he's healthy, he's our guy moving forward. And then, we're trying to trade him. Now we're releasing him. I wouldn't take anything Matt Rhule says about Teddy Bridgewater. And to be fair, a lot of things he said was true. Teddy is a professional, and he handled the situation the best he could. The main issue with Bridgewater is he tried to outplay his abilities, and that's a tough thing for an NFL player to realize. Okay, these are my limits, and I have to stay within them. Teddy, did things that he wasn't supposed to do because he thought, hey, man, I'm a leader. I can put the team on my back. I can throw the ball downfield. I can put the ball over the goal line, even though coach told me not to do that like 5 seconds ago. But I'm going to do that. So, and some of the things that Rhule said was true, but I feel like any statement that he makes about a quarterback, you just take it with a grain of salt.
I'm gonna tell you how I look at this. I look at this as more confirmation that Deshaun Watson will not be a Carolina Panther. Here's an interesting nugget here. Back in January, Matt Rhule, when he was asked about the quarterback situation here, he would not commit at all to any quarterback. It's specifically Teddy Bridgewater. Did not want to talk about it. Did not want to commit to any quarterback. As recently as 3 days ago, Matt Rhule's direct quote was, "I can't wait to have Teddy Bridgewater back in the Panthers uniform." I kind of see this as the Carolina Panthers are repeating history, because even with all that being said, I don't care what Matt Rhule even says at this point. The only thing I see Matt Rhule doing is trying to drive up trade value for Teddy Bridgewater at this point. I think the Carolina Panthers are still looking for their next quarterback, whether it be in the draft, free agency, wherever you have. There's still reports flying out there about Deshaun Watson, which I don't believe. There's still reports flying out there about them drafting Mac Jones in the draft. So just like Colin said, man, I take anything he says with a grain of salt, man. Anything that is complimentary at this point, it's just trying to sell other teams on Teddy Bridgewater. Go ahead.
Man, I got a different take, man. So I'm reading between the lines, man. I'm trying to read this Matt Rhule guy. So he's complimenting Teddy on things that we know about him. He's a good guy. This. He's not commenting on things
Football
on the field.
Right.
Stuff. And so that to me tells me, hey, I'm not going to trash the guy going out because we're still actively trying to get rid of him. And so I think there's a mandate from ownership saying that, hey, we need to upgrade this position, but we don't need to damage the asset on the way out. And so we got to try to figure out a way to do this.
They did the same thing with Cam Newton.
And to be fair, they screwed up the Cam Newton situation, and it looks like history is going to repeat itself again, man.
Yeah. I understand the need for, you got to have a franchise quarterback to be competitive in this league. I mean, that's just the way it is. That's the way it's always going to be in the NFL. The only exception is if you build a historically good defense, you can get away with it. But even then, your quarterback has to, at the very least, be average. He has to be able to have the smarts to manage the game and let the defense win it for him. So I understand the need to go out. The Hornets want to be, or the Panthers, want to be very aggressive in going out and getting a quarterback. But this ain't the way. This ain't the way. You can't.
It's kind of like, it's like, okay, so we publicly went after Matt Stafford. We've been publicly linked to rumors to Deshaun Watson. We haven't denied anything, but we're just going to build Teddy up in public because we don't. It's mixed messages that to people that don't read between the lines. And to be honest with you, man, Teddy's such a good guy that you can do anything you want to do to him, and he'll just take it.
Yeah,
guys, let me give you an analogy, and the analogy may fall flat, but I'm gonna try it anyway, man. Imagine I'm trying to sell you guys a car, And the ad says, man, you know what? I'll just get rid of this car, man, for anything. Like, I just really just don't want the car anymore, man. I just want something else. And then as time goes on, maybe, I don't know, a month or two later, I'm trying to really sell the car. Man, you know what? This car is great on gas. This car has all the fixtures and trimmings inside. Like, how would that look to somebody who's trying to buy that car? It's like, you're changing your tune a lot when you're trying to sell this car. This is a lot like Teddy Bridgewater, man. It's just like the sales pitch is coming in. It's like too little, too late, if that makes sense, man. It just doesn't look – the optics don't look good on it.
And Teddy Bridgewater's he's not stupid.
Right.
He knows what this is about. He knows Matt Rhule threw him under the bus continuously throughout the season. Oh, and now, that he's trade bait. Teddy Bridgewater's professional, and I cannot wait to work with him. Oh, come on, dude. I mean, just yeah.
All right, guys. Look, man, we're going to talk about our greatest quarterback in franchise history, the one who we fumbled the ball with last year. His name is Cameron Jarrell Newton. He actually re-signed the deal with the New England Patriots. Everybody said that he wasn't going to re-sign. Just leave it like that. It was basically a 1-year, $13 million deal, which is a very incentive-laden contract. So, guys, do you think this is a good marriage for the Patriots and Cam Newton this year?
Absolutely, I think so. I thought that he would re-sign with them. I didn't see why anyone who really knows football looked at the Patriots, and then they knew that Cam Newton wasn't the reason the Patriots were a bad team.
They were just a bad team, period.
Yeah, Cam Newton was the best player on that team. So however you feel about that, it is what it is. But he was the best player on that team. They don't win 7 games, or at least 5, because he missed a game due to COVID.
COVID, yeah.
But they don't even win those games without Cam Newton. First of all, they would have got blown out in Seattle on Sunday Night Football if Cam Newton doesn't throw for 400 yards and run for another 60 or 70. Bill Belichick, I don't think anyone will debate this, despite what you think about Belichick and Tom Brady and that situation over the last 20 years. Bill Belichick is the greatest mind in football history. Mm-hmm. He may not be the best GM, but the guy built 6 championship or 7 or built these championship teams over 2 decades. If he thinks that Cam Newton should be the New England quarterback or the New England Patriots quarterback going forward, I don't really think there's a lot you can say to argue with that. If Cam Newton was the problem, Bill Belichick of all people would have said, you know what, Cam's not going to do it for us this year. Let's move on.
Right.
They made him a bigger deal than they had last year. Last year was kind of a let's see deal. Well, they saw, and Bill Belichick liked what he saw. And
yeah,
he restarted. The Patriots don't want to hear that, but
yeah. I want to go back to the I Am Athlete interview that Cam Newton did, man. And I thought
check that out. Please check that out. It was a good one.
Seriously, y'all check that out, man. There was just a ton of jewels being dropped in that interview, man, and specifically talking about the relationship Cam Newton had with Bill Belichick, man. Cam Newton was highly complimentary of Bill Belichick, and Bill Belichick, in turn, has been highly complimentary of Cam Newton. We know how polarizing Cam Newton is, and we know that there are fans who will never, ever give Cam Newton the benefit of the doubt. And we know there are fans who don't want to hear context, and they're going to look at context like there are excuses. Cam Newton in that interview, he mentioned, his drop-off when he came back from COVID. And what he basically was saying was that, the Patriots, they were a machine that was going forward, and his time off didn't allow him to catch up with that machine. He didn't blame his drop off on COVID, anything physical, anything to do with that nature. He was basically saying that he could not catch up with the evolving offense / machine that was the New England Patriots. I say that now because I'm looking forward to Cam Newton in this marriage, whether it be short or long-term marriage with the Patriots. I'm looking forward to Cam Newton with a real offseason, a real training camp, hopefully at least one reliable weapon he can throw to. You know what I mean? I'm looking forward to all this to see, hopefully, the real Cam Newton, because I thought the situation last year, he was kind of thrown into like a crazy situation where we were not going to see the best Cam Newton going forward. Man, I think he's going to be more set up for success next season. I can't wait to see it.
And honestly, man, I don't know how it's going to be. I know New England has cap space and money. They've been linked to several like weapons for Cam, as far as like Kenny Galladay and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I think they want to put weapons around him, and I know they get some of the opt-outs back this year. But man, I'm gonna say it like this, man: the AFC East is a better division.
Absolutely.
You got the Dolphins, who won 10 games last year, if I'm not mistaken, just barely missed the playoffs. Their young team getting better. The Jets, we're not even going to talk about that. And then you got the very good Buffalo team. So Cam Newton and Bill Belichick have their work cut out for them next year, and it should be interesting. And
now, Rodney, keep in mind real quick, those were better outside of the Jets. Those were better teams than the Patriots, but they were at least competitive with those teams. Yeah. As bad as their offense was, you know what I mean? Just something to kind of keep in mind, though.
And I got a question. Don't the Patriots come to Bank of America Stadium in this year?
I got 2 words: blood and guts. I'm gonna keep it at that.
Nah, man. Look, I don't think it's gonna be blood and guts. It depends on who our quarterback is. I'm just leaving it like that. Look at this comment. Tell me what you think. So basically, a friend of mine said there was a caller to a Boston radio station that compared the Patriots signing him to 9/11, a bunch of dumb AE fan bases.
I think we all know that Boston sports fans are the worst fans in professional sports. I'll argue that with anyone. They are the worst fans in professional sports. They have everything. They've had.
They are the most loyal, entitled fans ever.
They have had great franchises in all of the 4 major professional sports. They have a championship in every major professional sports. They have perennial playoff teams in every major professional sports. Shut the fuck up. I'm sorry if this messes up our YouTube money, but shut up. Shut up. Just shut up.
I couldn't have said it any better, man.
I don't want to hear it. Just shut up. Yeah.
Kaza, I felt that angst, especially coming from somebody who has been to his fair share of Hornets Celtics games.
Oh God, yeah.
There being a sea of green in the stadium. Celtics fans, there's no fan base on earth that makes you want to punch them in the face more. I'll leave it at that.
All right, guys, and I got one more final football question. Just give me a yes or no before we move on. Do y'all still believe in Ian Thomas?
No.
Who?
Yeah.
Okay. So you answer the question, guys. Look, man, it's been roughly a year since everything shut down from COVID, man, and I just kind of want y'all to think back on just basically. Like what's been new in your lives and how have you grown since COVID? Like what's going on and what are your reflections of this whole past year?
I want to go first, and I want to possibly apologize in advance if I'm a little long-winded about this, because COVID has. Listen, man. The effect COVID not only has had on everyone's life. Because I thoroughly believe, whether it's small or large, COVID has literally affected everyone's life. I don't care what anyone says. Your life is currently being affected by COVID, whether it's directly or indirectly. But, I mean, for one, look at us 3 right now. We're looking at each other through a phone. You know what I'm saying? We're not at the table. We're not that, we're still good, but it's not the same as being in my man's house, with microphones and being a little more comfortable, man. So that's number one. You know what I'm saying? Something I thoroughly enjoyed. But on the more important things, man, like it's just been a life adjustment. Me personally, I miss going to Hornets games. I miss going to Panthers games. I miss going to concerts. Those are like my distractions, for lack of a better term. We all need hobbies and things that get us away from quote unquote real life. Those things are major when it comes to that for me, man. So I've had to make an adjustment as far as not having those same things in my life, man. It's for me, being home as a single dude is like hell on me, man. It's like my social life has suffered. Everything has suffered because of COVID.
Jamal's social life suffered. Jamal,
Yeah.
everybody in the state knows Jamal.
I feel like that is not the case anymore, man. I really don't, man.
Lady love cool Jamal.
Oh, stop it! Just stop it. But just for the sake of me not being long-winded, I'll let someone else go. I'll come back to it.
No, I feel the same way Jamal does. Y'all know I'm an introvert. You know, it's funny because when the lockdown started, I thought it's cool with me. I don't like to leave the house. But now I'm like, damn, I want to leave the house. The weather was perfect the last 2 days. I went outside. I worked on my cars, and I just put the top down and drove around. That's what I did, and it just felt great to be outside in the sun, and drive around and see what other human beings were doing, like in person. It's just kind of a weird thing I think that you take for granted. So that's just something that I won't do moving forward, is take that human interaction for granted. I too miss just the option of going out.
Yeah.
And I know that there are events still happening in Charlotte, but I've been pretty cautious, and I want to continue to be cautious.
Yeah.
I really want to, I've turned down some chances to get Hornets tickets to the Raptors game, the previous game, but I want to go when it's 18,000 people there, not 1,800. I cannot. In that first game, when we're at full capacity and LaMelo Ball crosses somebody over and throws the alley with the Miles Bridges, I'm telling you, I want to be there for that. I cannot wait. Those are just the little things that you take for granted. Also, and this is a bigger point, other people's struggles become more paramount.
Yeah.
I've been blessed to have a professional career that is relatively stable and safe. I didn't have to worry about my company saying, okay, well, because of COVID, you got to go. But I know a lot of people don't have that luxury. So we really had to look out for each other, find new hustles, find new ways to survive, and get adjusted to the new normal. This is the new normal. It's never going to be the same as it was before, vaccine or not. So that's been a difficult adjustment, I think, for everyone, no matter where you fall.
And one real quick thing, man. We got my boy in the chat that I want to shout out, man. Like, my boy Chris is in the chat. And listen, man, this dude is like a big ball of energy, and I love seeing this dude when I'm out somewhere, man. Like I said, I ain't seen this dude in a year, man. There's a lot of dudes I haven't, like, that kind of energy that I used to have, going to some of my favorite places, like that kind of stuff, man. I can't put into words how much I miss, man. I'm sure Rodney's gonna bring this up, but me and Rodney have had COVID, and COVID is a horrible experience for anybody who's had the symptoms of COVID. It was the worst I've ever felt in my entire life, man. So there's this interesting dynamic of me wanting to be active, but still wanting to be very cautious as well. I was driving down Tremont Avenue last night, and it looked like COVID was over. It looked like, nah, the hell with the pandemic. We're just gonna drink and forget about it. And I'm not there.
Not quite, yeah.
I'm not there, man. But Rodney, you were saying something. I'm sorry, sir.
With me, man, it's so I miss like going out places, even going like to a Lowe's or getting a haircut, and not having to worry about in the back of my head, is this person asymptomatic? Am I going to die of COVID? Am I going to get COVID again and stuff like that? I mean, and you guys know me, I'm a traveling SOB. And so I just miss that aspect of life. Just getting on the plane, heading here for a couple of days and doing stuff like that. And then like me personally, I haven't seen my grandmother and a lot of my Charleston family since December 2019. So it's been over a year. And so like it's a lot of people haven't seen their family in over a year. I mean, but even within the pandemic, I've gotten better personally. Relationships have gotten stronger with certain people. I'm in school, grad school. Started a new podcast with my wife, and then it just kind of shows you who your real friends are, who's checking up on you, who's making sure you're okay. I mean,
no doubt.
You can always pull positives out of a negative situation, but I'm gonna let you guys know now. Soon as full capacity comes back, I am going ape shit. I
think we all are, honestly.
Man, look, we might have to take a month off from the podcast just to kind of get our legs wet again and stuff, man. Because I'm really considering taking the vaccine soon. It opens up for me next week, and so I'm just weighing out. Okay, it's to the point where I understand there's some drawbacks to it, but I mean, I'm just craving regular again, and it's just like I'm like Kaiser. I'm an introvert. I'm an introvert. I go out every now and then. I miss telling people, being able to tell people, no, I don't want to go out tonight, yeah. or hey man, I'm gonna surprise you. I'm gonna be out there. Like I just miss. I miss being amongst people. I even miss some coworkers. As crazy as it sounds, I miss being in the midst of an office space.
I don't know about all that.
A little bit.
No, I feel you.
And real quick, man, me and Rodney had a discussion before we actually went on air, man. I'm in an unfortunate situation where my father has COVID for the second time, and he's 72 years. Yeah. He's 72 years old, man, and that's something that's worrying me by the minute. So, my family dynamic has changed because of COVID, man. I didn't want to go see my grandmother for a long time because of COVID stuff, man, and it's this thing has just wreaked havoc on society, man. I'm so ready for it to, I don't want to say be over, but at least I want some kind of semblance of normal again. You know what I mean? Whatever that may be going down the road. That part.
Man, it seems like yesterday Rudy Gobert touched those damn
microphones.
Right.
And
hey, real quick, Rodney, is that not symbolic of what we see now? Like, is that not like a perfect symbol of society? Like, this ain't real. We don't need to take
we open back.
It's funny to see how the narratives have changed over the last year. All of it's just the flu people. They're gone. They left. They have left the building. Nobody's saying that it's just the flu anymore. And I even think hardcore anti-maskers have started to come around because this is the new normal. I will say this. I still don't have a whole lot of faith in humans and society, but I do like the way society has kind of forced the issue on things like wearing masks in public. You go. I was in the store the other day, and a lady was in there without a mask, and boy, she's about to get lynched. Because, everyone was like, "Hey, you ain't got no mask," and the people at the store were like, "Hey, no, you gotta get a mask on, lady." She went back to her car and got her mask, and everything was good. So,
5G towers.
Yeah, 5G towers. What happened to those people? They left.
You know what, man? Look, this is like a confession I hate to make, and I don't do it very often. But sometimes, man, it'll be late, and I'll get hungry, and I'll go eat McDonald's. Like, I don't like admitting that I eat McDonald's sometimes.
Shoot,
With that being said, I'm not going to question the vaccine. Like, if I eat McDonald's and Hennessy, I'm not going to be like, oh, man, I don't know what's in the vaccine. Like, nah, man. My point is anything could be bad for you. like there's a lot of things that we don't know what's in them. So I'm not going to.
I understand, especially within the Black community, the mistrust.
It's valid. It's very valid.
It's very, very valid. But I'll say this. I hope this don't mess up our our YouTube money. But when white people are cutting in line to get it, then it's probably okay.
Yeah. I mean, truth.
Yeah, you got a point. You got a point. I mean, hey.
Yeah, white people gaming the system to get this vaccine. Okay, then that's probably good.
I think we're good. I think we're good to go, y'all.
All right, guys. Look, man. Look, I need something from you guys. I need some ish with some bop in it.
Oh, God.
So
you asking the wrong dudes, boy.
So basically, look, the Grammy Awards are tonight, man. Charlotte's own Jonathan Kirk, Tyrone's cousin.
No relation.
The baby is nominated for 4 awards. Does he bring one back to the QC, man? He bring one back to the crib?
I think he does. Let me tell you why. And before I say this, this is not a knock on the baby. I want to be very clear when I say this. I think Kaz is really gonna feel me on this, man. Hardcore hip hop dudes have a very, what's the word I'm looking for? Not a good relationship with the Grammys. And I think for years we have felt like the Grammys have looked at the candidates and just said, you know what, we're just gonna pick the most popular dude. We don't really care about content and whatever else that you're supposed to judge music on. I don't even want to get into all that today. But with that being said, I think the baby is the most popular candidate right now. And that's not a knock on him, please. I want to be very clear about that. So with that being said, I think he has a great shot at winning the Grammy tonight. And listen, real quick.
Hey, man, ain't nothing wrong with some WAP.
And listen, if they give it to WAP, I'm done. I'm
hey, I like WAP, man. I liked WAP. I thought it was.
It was a cool. I like the video too.
I watched the video 700 times with the volume down.
Yeah,
so that's.
I mean, look, I love WAP. I don't like the song, but I like the video.
I think the baby. Well, first of all, the Grammys have always been more of a, I don't want to say popularity contest, but the Grammy Awards, at least in the major categories, seem to be more based on your impact on the genre and the industry rather than, the actual music itself. And I don't think that anyone can deny the impact the baby's music has had over the last year, particularly the song Bach, which is up for a Grammy nomination. I mean, that was like,
that video, man.
The video, yeah. I mean, I'd be shocked if that. I think that its best rap performance is the Grammy that it's up for. I think it'll win that best album. I don't.
No.
I don't think so. I think that category, best rap performance, is his best bet to bring to bring a Grammy back to Beatty's Ford Road. So, I mean, I hope he wins. I mean, another win for Charlotte. I'll say this. Charlotte actually has had a lot of popular music ambassadors. And it doesn't pain me to say this, but I don't think any of them have been as much of it as an ambassador to the city as DaBaby has been. I mean, maybe Anthony Hamilton. Jodeci don't even claim us anymore.
Nah, they don't. They never really. Like as long as I thought them dudes from New York.
New York, yeah. Fantasia's making a Lifetime movie. She don't quit singing. So all we got left is DaBaby representing. So good luck to that brother.
She from High Point anyway. It's not.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
What about my girl? Heard it all before.
We need a longer catalog, man. Hey, man, I love me. I love that song, man, but we didn't get anything else after that, bro.
Got you, man. Look, man, so we're going to get into our shout-outs, man. Any specific shout-out to shout at this week?
I have a long overdue shout at, and I don't know why I didn't do this earlier. Shout at the governor of Texas, man. What a moron. What a complete, absolute asinine moron. I did not know a part of the job description for being the governor was to want to kill everybody. I am at a loss for words for. I don't even want to say his name, man, but to just completely ignore the pandemic and act like it's over and to just quote unquote open everything back up. I can't even put in words how asinine that is. That's all I had.
There's a quote.
Wait, sorry. I do want to shout out my friend Mike Thompson, who might be listening today. He says that we are hating on Apple because our podcast is not on Apple. He says it is on Apple, actually, by the way. So, Mike, please use the search button. We are under construction. We have the Hornets, Panthers emblem right there. So search again, man. We're there.
Yeah, there are a few different under construction podcasts. They're not sports podcasts, but that might be where the confusion
is.
Go ahead, Ronnie.
Well, I mean, I look, man. I got a sad shout out to Marvin Hagler. He passed away yesterday at the age of 66. Prayers to his family. I want to shout out to Atlanta, man. Last week was the All-Star game. You had people sleeping in budget vans, people acting like COVID didn't happen, and Airbnb reported over $8,000 of damages in homes. I want to move on. I got a shot at the Oklahoma high school announcer who called those young women the N-word and blamed it on his type 1 diabetes. So my Caucasian friends, if you're feeling lightheaded and love to say the N-word, please check
seek
blood
help
pressure
immediately.
And look, man, he might not have a racist bone in his body, but he has racist tendons. And then, man, finally, on a serious note, man, yesterday marked the year since Breonna Taylor was murdered. I want to send out prayers to her family, and just my heartfelt sympathies in that situation. And then George Floyd's family settled for $27 million with the city of St. Paul or Minneapolis, one of the two. And the Chauvin trial is going on.
And there were people who were mad about George Floyd's family getting $27 million, but that's another discussion for another day.
Should have got more.
Yeah.
But there's a quote by General Philip Henry Sheridan from 1886, I think, in which he said, "If I owned Texas and hell, I would rent out Texas and live in hell." I think that quote will stand the test of time as Texas continues to murder its citizens for some reason. I don't know. And people are fiercely defensive about Texas. I don't get it. Just let them secede. Just come on.
Let's just get Bugs Bunny to cut off Texas and just let it go and see somewhere, man. Florida can go with him too. Real
quick shout out. I was at the Food Lion the other day, the one by me and Rodney's house, and I saw, you guys know I'm a huge BMW fan, and I saw a 2017 BMW i8, a car which I actually love, BMW's hybrid supercar, parked out front. It was Panthers colors, and the license plate said "First and Goal." So I thought, oh, this gotta be one of us, gotta be a Panthers player, right? So as I'm coming out, the car is still parked there, and I said, I'm gonna see who comes to get in this car. It's the old black lady. Maybe her son was one of the players. I don't know. And she got in that bitch like she knew what she was doing too. I was like, yo, okay, I'd say, hey, all right, do your thing, ma. So shout out to her, and whoever her son is that was nice enough to loan his mom $200,000 sports car. Yeah.
Must be nice.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Today is Pie Day. Go ahead and get you a pizza pie. It's 314.
Lay's Pizza. Yes, sir.
And hope you have a wonderful day, man. Much love, and thank you for the continued support. Under construction, we out.
Till the next time, fellas.